Hi, everybody. Welcome. I had to get my coffee. My goodness, we have so much to review. Are we live? Let me know. Can y'all see me? Thank you. Is anybody in the chat? Let me know. Drop a one in the chat. Thank you. It says I had a good amount of people here. So good morning. Good morning. Listen, I woke up late. I have a certain time that I wake up, but I woke up yesterday. I woke up at late, and today I woke up late, and that is okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Let me get this intro going so that I can share with this with everybody and let them know that we're live, and hopefully notifications go out. Let's go now. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I hope you guys have a drink because I have two, and I'm definitely going to need them for today's live. We definitely got some stuff to, talk about today. Now, first of all, one of the things that's breaking news, you guys know we covered here the Diddy trial. We covered it extensively every day for almost 2 months. We were going live. We're going live. So we have some breaking news regarding that situation right now. We're going to start right there. So Sean Diddy Combs has asked for a release from jail on conditions, and that's just this morning. And he again is awaiting sentencing. He has been, officially charged, convicted. We're waiting for a sentence. That's what we're waiting for. There's been a lot of in between that has happened as it pertains to that. So why don't we go right into that source? Agnifilo submits this letter in the morning, okay? Right where everybody was waking up, Agnifilo was working and submitting letters. Let's get into this letter, guys, and let me know what you guys think. And then, of course, we're going to get into the other topics like the mid-Manhattan shooter, potential CTE. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into Maxwell and Ghislaine. More sources coming out about whether they were spies. Okay, let's get into it. You said L Diddy sidebar. If I was the judge, I would say, oh, hell no. We see your BS on Twitter. Oh, my God, the little eyes. I'm pretty sure somebody's handling his Twitter. I don't know if that's him per se, but, maybe somebody from his PR team, because he basically gave all that access to his children, I think, or management. Crazy that he still has a management team behind that. But okay. All right, so United States versus Sean Combs. This is the letter that Agnifilo wrote to the judge. Now, I do wonder if the reason why Agnifilo wrote this letter, now that Comey's not around, now that Comey has been given the boot, Agnifilo's like, I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna see what I can do here. Okay, maybe that's what it is. So he writes, "Dear Judge, Sean Combs, through his counsel, moves for his release and appropriate conditions in advance of his sentencing hearing." So again, he is scheduled for a sentencing hearing on October 3rd. Title 18 United States Code, Section 3145C gives the district court the authority to release a person otherwise subject to detention pursuant to Section 3143A2, where, among other things, it is clearly shown that there are exceptional reasons why such a person's detention would not be appropriate. Okay? There are exceptional circumstances warranting a departure from mandatory detention and ensuring that Sean Combs is released. First, as shown below, the history of the Mann Act, as well as how it has been prosecuted over the last several decades, clearly indicates the exceptional, indeed unique nature of this case, specifically the prosecution and continued incarceration of a customer of services provided by an S worker to a third person, rather than a defendant profiting financially from the business of the prostitution. In the limited cases of the Mann Act convictions from across the country that bears any similarity to Mr. Sean Combs, the defendants were released pending sentencing. So Agnifilo saying here, listen, there's this history of some of these cases where if a person is convicted with this Mann Act, they're typically released, okay, pending the sentencing part. So this is Agnifilo trying to convey to the judge, Judge Submaranian, this is what's going on. You know, we're hoping that you consider that the Mann Act is a special type of case that allows certain people to be released while they're waiting for their sentencing. Second, Mr. Combs' condition of confinement at MDC qualifies as exceptional circumstances under United States versus Chavez. Now, what could be going on with the conditions that would qualify him to be released? MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center. To be released on conditions under Section 3145C, two conditions must be met. First, the district court must find by clear and convincing evidence that the person is not likely to flee or pose a danger to the safety or any other person or the community of release. Okay. Second, it must be clearly shown that there are exceptional reasons why such a person's detention would not be appropriate. We will first address the exceptional reasons justifying Mr. Combs' release, and then turn to the set of proposed conditions that will ensure Mr. Combs' return to court and ensure the safety of the community. Okay. First of all, he says, exceptional reasons in this case justify release under Section 3145C. And again, 3145C is something to do with the conditions, okay, of the facility, maybe. As noted, there are several exceptional reasons justifying release. First, the history of the statute of the Mann Act has never applied to facts similar to these to prosecute or incarcerate any other person. Second, in any somewhat similar situated cases to this one, all the defendants were released pending sentencing. Okay. Third, under Chavez, Mr. Combs' condition of confinement at MDC for the past 11 months justifies release. All right. 3 reasons he gave right here, okay? As Judge Furman noted in Chavez, so he's going to talk about that Chavez case for the MDC release. The Supreme Court has never addressed the meaning of exceptional reason provision, and the Second Circuit has addressed it as only sparingly in 710F, and then he's listing a case. The provision was first addressed by the Second Circuit in United States versus DeSoma, where the court observed neither that statute nor case law defines the circumstances which may qualify as exceptional reasons permitting release, and that the legislative history on the issue is sparse and uninformative. The court further states that a case by case evaluation is essential, and it is not our intention to foreclose district judge from the full exercise of discretion in this matter. The United States versus Leah decision gives a trial court wide latitude to determine whether a particular set of circumstances qualifies as exceptional. The circumstances here are by definition exceptional in that there has never been a Mann Act prosecution remotely like this one. Okay. Clearly, this is precisely the type of exception that the court in Leah was contemplating when it gave this wide latitude to the trial court. This Diddy case, I think, is going to be one that's going to be talked about in various lawsuits, law schools and various, because it is very unique in that way, right? Like, and it doesn't sound like when they look at the Mann Act, and I remember when we were talking a little bit about this, that there are very interesting cases. If you look into it, how they're doing the prosecution, how do they determine that? Every case is a little bit different. I could foresee Sean Diddy Combs being one of those cases where they're going through and they're like, yeah, this is a first time kind of case, and we can use this to kind of pull future sentencing for other people that find themselves in that situation, I'm assuming. Okay. It further goes. The proffered reason here, specifically the exceptional nature of prosecuting and incarcerating a person convicted of paying for S services to be provided to his girlfriend, as well as the exceptional circumstances facing Mr. Combs at the MDC, given the truly unique circumstances of this case, are specifically the type of exceptional reasons that justifies release under 3145C. Far from being routine-based, typical of many defendants, the reasons here present unique circumstances that are found in virtually no other case like this. We address these exceptional reasons in turn. Okay. The underlying facts make this prosecution and continued incarceration exceptional. The prosecution and continued incarceration of Sean Combs are unique in the history of the Mann Act. Okay? Look at that. Unique in the history of the Mann Act. There has literally never been a case like this where a person and his girlfriend arranged for adult men to have consensual S relations with the adult long-term girlfriend as part of a demonstrated swingers lifestyle and has been prosecuted and incarcerated under the Mann Act. Ooh, okay. Combs and two of his longtime girlfriends had a private, intimate life that is not uncommon today. It may not have been common on June 25th, 1910, when the Mann Act, or as it was originally called, the White Slave Traffic Act, was passed. But attitudes about S and morality have come a long ways in the last 115 years. It is worth noting that when the Mann Act was passed to protect the moral and decency of American women were not allowed to vote. As noted below, perhaps due to the troubling background of this statute, whose history is rich with both racism and misogyny, the Department of Justice has limited its application to those people profiting financially from the business of prostitution and not using it to prosecute consensual adults for their own lifestyle. Lord have mercy. Agnifilo wrote all this. Okay. I'm going to need you guys to hit the like button. Well, the thing is, it might be a case study. It might be Diddy's case is that unique that I could see it, because you have to understand how when you're reading briefs and stuff like that, they research other cases to make an argument, right? I could definitely see Sean Combs being one of those where they reference that. You said, I think what you mean to say is that this trial will set some sort of precedence for future cases like it. Yes. And, again, for future research. I mean, that's what they do. They pull these cases and then they figure out like what does this look like? Because the Diddy case is very unique in that way. But okay. Just letting y'all know. Okay. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Let's keep going, okay? Ooh, this is a mouthful. And he continues. Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs went to swingers clubs and they had threesomes. Miss Ventura consistently expressed interest and enthusiasm in her intimate life with Combs, including what they called freak offs. Jane and Sean Combs had threesomes too. When Jane and Combs watched Prawn together, Jane testified that she contacted two different prawn stars and invited them to join her and Mr. Combs. Both Miss Ventura and Jane testified that very often they would see the same men over and over again for years. In July of 2024, Jane testified, for instance, that she suggested to Mr. Combs that they call Paul. Jane explained that she told Combs that she missed Paul, which we saw that. She did say that. When asked why she said that, she responded, because I did. This was a lifestyle, one that both Miss Ventura and Jane chose, one they all, as grown adults, had a right to choose. Like many aspects of S and intimacy, it was not without its complications, its bouts of jealousy, and at times its frustration. But that is a hallmark of any serious romantic relationship. And that is what these were. And that is what these were: serious, long term romantic relationships. Lord, I was not ready to read. I didn't even read this before. Y'all know I don't be reading stuff before I go live because I want to react. And yeah, you Judith's like, I miss Rabbit saying prostitution and prawn in the same sentence. It's been a minute since I've said it's like often. Can I just say that I'm still my vocal cords are still recovering from this? Um, y'all let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, I do wonder if this is if they're doing this because Comey's out. You know what I mean? Like more chances for the judge to review this and maybe consider. I don't know. Let's keep going, okay? A jury listened closely to all the evidence concerning these two relationships at the center of this sprawling racketeering conspiracy indictment. And the jury acquitted Mr. Combs of all of the serious counts and almost all of the conduct charged. The jury concluded that Miss Ventura and Jane were not forced, coerced, or defrauded into having commercial S, but it did conclude that there was prostitution, that the payments for the Cowboys for Angels and the Prawn Stars and others amounted to S for money, despite what the only two escorts called by the government testified. In the lifestyle that he and other adults voluntarily chose, Mr. Combs would be called a swinger. But in the vocabulary of the Mann Act or of the prostitution generally, he might at worst be somewhat similar to a John, someone who pays to have S with a S worker, in this case, a male S worker, more particularly a male S worker who works for and is vetted by a well-known agency called Cowboys for Angels, or another similar agency, or who works as a paid prawn star in connections with movies. And they're putting footnotes to this is where the transcripts, they're citing the transcript numbers right here. I could see that where they did the cross for various. And then the footnote number 3 says the racketeering conspiracy alleges numerous potential acts of S trafficking, forced labor, and rug distribution, 3 kidnappings, 1 arson, several acts of obstruction of justice, and witness intimidation. The jury convicted him of none of them. Hear that? No racketeering. Okay. Let's keep going. Sean Combs should not be in jail for this conduct. In fact, he may be the only person currently in the United States being in any sort of for being in jail for being any sort of John. Look at that. And certainly the only person in jail for hiring adult male escorts for him and his girlfriend when he did not even have S with the escorts himself. Wow. Now, sure. Sure, he didn't have any S with the escorts. I'll give you that. Nando, how are you? Sure, he didn't have any S, but he was still getting master's degrees after master's degrees after master's degrees watching. But he didn't have any S with the girlfriends. I'll give you that. Or excuse me, with the prostitutes, because they never testified to that, right? But let me say this: he was getting his little master's degree. Okay, he was he wasn't doing the deed. He was watching the deed, but he wasn't doing it. With the prostitute. If you know what I mean. Listen, that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Well, you said it's speculation. Basically, that's what he's in jail for, though, right? But okay, so you said what spec he was getting he was in the corner getting master's degrees. Okay, so don't start with me. Yes, just so what James said, he's got his socks on and he was putting his socks back on every time. LOL rabbit, but that accounts every man that watches corn may be in jail. That's very true. That is very true, Moni. That's very true. But anyways, let's keep going, y'all. I'm just don't shoot me in the chat. I'm just letting y'all know what we know so far, okay? Y'all are too much. Stop hating on the master's degrees, okay? I cannot believe I got a community guideline warning over saying that word. I cannot believe it, but I did. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Over the last 75 years, the White Slave Traffic Act has been limited to defendants who cause interstate travel for financial gain through the business of prostitution, as reflected in the cases brought under the statute, as well as the explicit enforcement policies set out in the United States Attorney Manual, more recently called the Justice Manual. That Sean Combs remains in jail for being convicted of being a customer of consensual adult S services makes this case truly exceptional under Section 31(4)(c). Not only is prosecuting the users of adult prostitution services inconsistent with the Mann Act, it's inconsistent with the prosecution policies of the district attorneys of Manhattan and the city attorney of Los Angeles, California, two of the three locations where this prostitution allegedly took place. Oh, it's interesting point. In addition, Mr. Combs is incarcerated while everyone else involved in this identical conduct, his girlfriends, the cowboys, the agency leaders, the prawn stars, and others walk free. That's a good point. Everybody walks free while he's in jail. I mean, think about it. As they should, okay? If there was ever a fact pattern that was exceptional under the Mann Act, it is this one. As a result, this court should release him on reasonable conditions in advance of sentencing, scheduled for October 3rd, 2025. This fundamental factual distinction between the current cases and the scores of other Mann Act and prostitution cases makes this case exceptional under Leia. So he cites the case right there. Oh my God. What do y'all think in the chat? Okay. Exceptional, very different kind of case. That is what they're saying. Oh, Terry's like, just like Maxwell. We're gonna talk. We could totally make a comparison as soon as we get through this letter when we start talking about Maxwell and Epstein, okay? Because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it, right? Let's keep going. Prosecution of these facts is inconsistent with Department of Justice policy. Okay. It has been explicitly the policy of the United States Department of Justice to charge the Mann Act in adult prostitution cases only when the defendant is motivated by commercial gain. Oh, for over 75 years, the Department of Justice has made clear through its own enforcement policies that Mann Act enforcement should be limited to cases targeting defendants who violate the statute for commercial gain. For example, the 1953 version of the U.S. Attorney's Manual states the White Slave Traffic Act makes it an offensive knowingly to transport any woman or girl in interstate or foreign commerce or in the District of Columbia or any territory or possession of the United States for the purposes of prostitution, debauchery, or for any other immoral purposes. Commercialization is not essential to a violation of the act. They cite a case which says, as a general rule, prostitution should not be instituted in the so-called non-commercial cases. As a guide to the exercise of a sound discretion in non-commercial cases, consideration may be given to prostitution in such cases as the fraudulent overreaching of a previously chaste young girl or young women or girls, or cases where state laws are inadequate involving married women with young children who are living with their husbands. Cases having the appearance of blackmail should, as far as possible, be avoided. Okay. That's what it says. Now, hold up. We're going to go into the next paragraph, but I want to see what they say on the footnote. If there's anything, they're just citing more cases on the footnote. They cited a article for research as well. Let's see. And more archives stuff. So we're not going to get into that. It further goes, this policy of not prosecuting non-commercial cases continued through the remainder, of the 1900s until the focus of the statute turned to cases involving minors and or S trafficking in the 1980s, as discussed below. Thus, the 1961 U.S. Attorney's Manual states that prostitution of persons who are not engaged to commercial prostitution enterprise are panderers, operators of houses of prostitution or call girl operations, and those who act for or are in association with such persons should be instituted without prior approval of the criminal division. So he's highlighting a manual and that's what he has on this footnote too. Okay. By 1988, enforcement priorities shifted to cases involving S trafficking in minors, yet non-commercial cases. Okay, so he is highlighting other definitions, just giving us a timeline. Unless minors are victims, prosecution under 18 USC and 2422 should generally be limited to a person engaged in commercial prostitution services, even though it is not an element or offense. And it further goes, citing a case, prosecution of a person other than those engaged in commercial prostitution enterprise as panderers, operators of houses of prostitution or call girl operators, and those acting for or in association with such a person should not be instituted without consultation with general litigation and legal advice section unless minors are victims. Well, doesn't this definition also cover, because he says that it's the enterprise that involves panderers, operators, or panderers, operators of houses of prostitutions or call girls. I mean, you could even say that that would be Cowboys for Angels, right? They're operators, they're the service people, like the agency, not the prostituters, but the agency would be like they're operating as that, right? So that would fall in that definition. As long as if this was a crime involving minors, I think this would be a different story, right? Those people would definitely be held accountable. But it does kind of make you wonder, like, doesn't this kind of all encompass all of them too, you know? Okay, it further goes. Let's see. That directive continued through the most recent iteration of the U.S. Attorney's Manual. Okay, so he's just citing cases here. It further goes. Today, the Justice Manual, which replaced a U.S. Attorney's Manual in 2018, makes clear that the Prosecution of customers involving an 18 USC 2421 offense, like Mr. Combs here, is now limited to prosecuting those who engage in commercial S with victims of STS trafficking, in addition to those who otherwise uh, perpetrate or facilitate human trafficking offenses in the absence of S trafficking charges. However, it is clear that the standalone Mann Act counts never would have been prosecuted. Historically, the punishment for non-commercial Mann Act violations were similarly limited and restrained. Prior to the creation of the sentencing guideline, the United States Parole Commission rated non-commercial prostitution offenses under the Mann Act to be Category 1 offenses, the lowest severity level, warranting a customary total time to be served prior to release, or less than 6 months to 12 months for very good, and fair defendant scores, and time up to 16 and only the poor defendant scores. And when the sentencing guidelines were first created, the Mann Act guidelines provided a base offense of level 14, which, in accordance with the longstanding DOJ enforcement policy, assumed that the offense was committed for profit. It further provided, in the infrequent cases where the defendant did not commit the offense for profit, that the offense did not involve physical force or coercion, the commission recommends a downward departure of level 8. So he's talking about levels as far as sentencing and punishment goes here. The application note was in force with through the 1995 sentencing guidelines, and until Amendment 538 removed the application note for non-substantive reasons as part of the consolation. Okay, in sum, for over 75 years, the Mann Act enforcement has been limited to cases entirely distinguishable from the instant offense of conviction for merely paying for a person to have S with others, and intentionally so, given DOJ's explicit instructions to avoid prosecuting offenses like the instant offense of conviction. For example, the only modern era prosecution of Johns that we have identified involved defendants who patronized prostitutes who were vulnerable immigrants with limited English language skills who were being trafficked by brothel owners. And these cases, unlike here, did not involve defendants who paid a person but did not himself have S with the person. Regardless, the penalties for such offenses were typically less punitive than the prison time for Mr. Combs has already served. Okay. You're making comparisons to like general Mann Acts, what's been enforced overall in the years. Consistent with the Justice Department policy, Mann Act cases in recent years are focused on defendants profiting from the business of prostitution. The prosecution by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District Court within the Second Circuit have, as expected, followed the directive provided by the Department of Justice in the Southern District of New York. Cases such as United States versus Dillon. So they're listing all the cases. I'm not going to read all this, but they're listing them there for everybody. And it says each defendants involved who develop or maintain prostitution businesses to make a financial profit. The common element to these cases is a clear financial motive on the part of the defendant. In some of these cases, such as Hernandez Velasquez, the prostitution business involved well-organized trafficking organizations which smuggled poor, vulnerable young women from another country to the United States to work in brothels, while the organization took the lion's share of the profit. Interesting. In the Eastern District of New York, cases such as United States versus, and then they're listing all these cases, and this is straight out of New York. You have the Eastern District that are listed all there, okay? Likewise, cases involve defendants who operated prostitution businesses for profit. Several of these cases who involved the prostitution business moving women from another country to the United States and taking advantage of the woman's immigration status. The United States versus Jacob Driscoll. The defendant had a long-term relationship with a 15-year-old girl. So while Driscoll was not motivated by profit, the victim in this case was a child. Again, making more comparisons to cases. one of the district courts within the the second circuit, the only case located to date by the defense where a John was prosecuted under the Mann Act in the adult prostitution case was from the Western District of New York in the case of United States versus Tobridge, where the defendant was a retired police officer who, along with the former New York State Judge Tills and others, hired women who they paid to have S with members of the male fraternal group. Hold up, called the Jesters. Ooh, the Jesters. Where have I heard this before? The Jesters. Although Tills and Tobridge apparently made no financial profit and were merely having S with the prostitutions and arranging from others to have S with them, unlike the male escorts in the case, the female prostitutes being patronized by these defendants were clearly victims of S trafficking. The victims were vulnerable and exploited by traffickers, and they had been they have been tricked into working for a brothel by the owner, who had also told them that they were providing normal massages rather than S services. Indeed, the owner pled guilty to S trafficking and admitted preying upon financial and ethnic vulnerabilities, immigration status, and using her relationship with public officials, including the police officer and the judge, to coerce the women to engage in commercial S acts for her business. Okay. The police officer defendant, Tobridge, was sentenced to probation. The retired Judge Tills, who arranged the prostitution activities for the Jesters, were sentenced to 18 months in prison. Although they did not make a profit, the Tobridge defendants, unlike Mr. Combs, were taking advantage of trafficking victims, and they all had S with the prostitutes. In another division, in another Western District case, United States versus McDonald, the defendants, who also charged with S trafficking, operated a prostitution business and brought 4 different women around the country to engage in S for profit. Let me time out. I'm stuck on the Jesters, because isn't that like that is a real thing, right? So in that case that they're citing, they're saying that Relatable Reese has this whole little thing right there on this. So Agnifalo's using a case on where a judge and a police officer, it sounds like they were vulnerable because they didn't even speak the language or anything like that. But they called their clients jesters. Hold up. Let me look at something. Let me see something real quick. They called, this is a case in 2019. It's a very much a thing. And so this is what they would call it. But damn, okay. There's a lot of research on it. We might have to look into that, especially because we're talking about Epstein and Maxwell and all this, kind of how it all connects together and everything. That's an interesting case. We'll have to look into that in a little bit. Okay, further goes. So with the McDonald case, the defendant, who also charged with S trafficking, operated prostitution business and brought 4 different women around the country to engage in S acts for profits. In the District of Connecticut, cases such as United States versus Briggs. Okay, there's one case there. These cases illustrate that, with rare exceptions involving female prostitutions who were exploited and trafficked, every victim prosecuted under the Mann Act was involved in building or maintaining prostitution businesses for profit. The cases reflect the directive in the U.S. Attorney's Manual, Justice Manual, and the Mann Act can be reserved for cases involving making profit from the business of prostitution or some form of coercion. This non-exhaustive review of cases, as well as the policy of the Department of Justice, shows the exceptional nature of the facts here, where Mr. Combs pursued a consensual lifestyle with 2 of his long-term girlfriends and obviously was not involved in making a profit for prostitution, which was not even alleged by the government. Okay? Any similarly situated cases may have been released on their own recognizance following the Mann Act conviction. Okay? Moreover, the cases which involve defendants similarly situated to Mr. Combs have been based on bond pending sentencing and reviewing the cases across the country where the primary or sole conviction was for a violation of 18 USC 2421A. The defendants who were not charged with running a prostitution business have been released pending sentencing. Notably, Tobridge was released on his own recognizance after his plea of guilty, pending sentencing to the same offenses. Mr. Combs was convicted of here. Tills, so he's going back to that gesture case. Tills, that was there was a judge and an officer. Tills similarly pled to the same offense, was also released on his own recognizance, and was given a voluntary surrender date after his sentencing, despite being sentenced to a prison time. Now, let me time out Agnifilo. Agnifilo, that's great that he's making this comparison, but Agnifilo, during the time that people were preparing for the trial, Diddy was making a bunch of phone calls to people that he knew were going to testify, and that's a no-no. That's basically what led the judge to say, no, we're not letting you, run this, have contact with these victims. Wasn't it Don Richard? And that was found out during the trial that he was trying to contact these people that were going to testify against him. So just putting this out here for perspective, because yes, they were released on their own recognizance. I get that. But part of intimidating witnesses is making sure that you don't contact any of the witnesses or alleged victims. Okay. Just letting y'all know. All right, let's keep going. So they're citing cases. Additionally, in the United States versus Collin, and they cite more cases, the defendant, Mario Collins and Paulette Clayton, were charged with trafficking, kidnapping, violent crimes, and prostitution offenses. Like Mr. Combs, Collins was detained pending trial. Following a jury on all offenses, the court ordered a mistrial because the jury could not come to an agreement on 3 of the 4 counts of the indictment. The court ordered a mistrial, and the government indicated it would only retry the defendant on the Mann Act offenses. With only the Mann Act left in the balance, Mr. Collins was released on conditions following the declaration of a mistrial. The government retried Mr. Collins and Miss Clayton on the Mann Act offenses, and the jury convicted the defendant of that offense. Following the convictions on the Mann Act, both defendants Collins and Clayton, bail was continued. Mr. Collins was even given an order of voluntary surrender post-conviction of the Mann Act offense. That case is most similarly situated to Mr. Combs' first following a trial on the trafficking offenses, where the jury could not agree on a verdict. The court in Collins released the top defendants. Here, Mr. Combs' jury agreed that Mr. Combs did not commit either count of trafficking or the RICO conspiracy. The court there released the defendants despite the Mann Act apparently being a Chapter 117 offense. Second, following the defendant's conviction of the Mann Act count on their indictment, the month after the mistrial, the court continued the conditions of release and allowed defendant Collins a voluntary surrender date. Clayton was sentenced to a no time. Following Mr. Combs' complete acquittal of trafficking and conviction on the Mann Act offenses, the court continued to order the detention rather than allowing release convictions. However, the precedents in Collins, in a similarly situated case where there was no conviction on the trafficking or violent offenses, but a conviction on the Mann Act offense, provided further support for release. Mr. Combs provides further support for release Mr. Combs on a bond. Whew. These are like, whoa. All right, let's keep going. Again, he's making the argument as to why he should be released. Just doing what he has to do. He's doing what a lawyer's supposed to do. Okay. Now hold up. Did I? Oh my God, Alejandro, thank you so much for the $1.99. Whew. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, it's a lot of reading, y'all. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Thank you, Alejandro. Really appreciate this. Thank you. Whew. Okay. Am I out of breath? Sean Combs is an exceptional situation as a post verdict. Okay, so hold up. Combs' nearly 11-month detention at MDC is an exceptional circumstances. Sean Combs is an exceptional situation as a post verdict pre sentence inmate at the MDC, and his conditions of confinement at the facility qualify as an exceptional circumstances under Chavez. Okay, we going to talk about the facility or what's going on? As the court noted in Leah, the test under 3145C is a necessarily flexible one, and district courts have wide latitude to determine whether a particular set of circumstances qualifies as exceptional. In this district, Judge Furman and Chavez has already held that a prisoner individual situation at MDC can mount to an exceptional reason for release under Section 3145C. Okay, as Judge Furman noted, the state of affairs at MDC is unacceptable. In so noting, Judge Furman concluded that the conditions in MDC qualified as exceptional reasons under the statute justifying Chavez' continuing release. Okay, so in Chavez, the 7-year-old, he was a seven. So Chavez, at that time that he was in this jail, he was a 70-year-old defendant. The 70-year-old defendant argued that his age and various medical conditions constituted exceptional reasons, but the court found that it need and does not decide whether the argument would suffice on its own, because it concludes that the conditions at MDC themselves are exceptional reasons why Chavez detention pending sentencing would not be appropriate. The same is true here, where the conditions have not improved. So what's wrong with the conditions of MDC? I mean, I know maybe I'm asking a stupid question for saying that, but the MDC conditions, I mean, it's a prison. It's not meant to be luxury, right? Like, okay. That's not supposed to be luxury, right? Yeah, so according to Agnifilo, everyone in jail should be released because the conditions are not good. And I bet you a good portion of people, those prisoners there have, or those that are detained in MDC have medical conditions, very likely to be the case, right? There's going to be medical conditions. There's going to be different things that are happening. I don't know. Does that clear my throat? Okay. Let's keep going though. So, Judge Furman found that the conditions at the MDC are dreadful in many aspects, but three warrant particular emphasis. 1, continued report of inordinate periods of a lockdown. 2, a claim that the facility provided inadequate or substantially delayed necessary medical care, a particular risk in this case. And 3, general issues about conditions at the facility. The conditions have not abated in Mr. Combs' detention at the facility. As the court is aware, during Mr. Combs' incarceration at MDC, the facility was subject to an interagency sweep that was designed to achieve our shared goal of maintaining a safe environment for both our employees and the incarcerated individuals housed at MDC Brooklyn. In other words, there is a significant issue at MDC related to safety of employees and incarcerated individuals that require outside law enforcement action from multiple agencies to address. Importantly, MDC as a jail has significant law enforcement present within its walls, 24 hours per day, that are equipped with investigatory and often unregulated authority. What is unregulated authority? Like we don't want any. Okay, y'all. We don't want, and let's be very clear. Let me play the devil's advocate. I don't want anybody violating anybody's rights while they're at MDC, but also knowing that for a portion that they're at MDC, whether it's Diddy or Mangione or any other prisoner that's out there, hell, put 6ix9ine in there. Put Daniel Hernandez in there, who he's also in trouble currently legally with a lot of ish, right? For violating his stuff. Put his ass in there too. All of them, and all the regular people. We don't want their rights violated. But to a certain degree, they are in a facility because there have been laws that have been broken. right? So you lose your freedom, which is, your right. You lose it once that's you don't break the law, you don't lose your freedom, right? That's the condition of that, right? So it's interesting to me that I do wonder where are they getting at with this, if you know what I mean. Well, where are they going? Um, and what does it mean? I mean, wouldn't you want its walls 24 hours per day that are equipped with investigatory and often unregulated authority? Well, who's that? Too many cops inside? Too many staff? Too many security? Too many detention staff? You don't want that in there? Okay. Thus, the requirement of outside law enforcement agencies to ensure safety within MDC is an admission that serious violence, mayhem, and often chaos is occurring within the MDC that requires more than a band aid raid, but rather surgery. Indeed, we are aware of ongoing threats of violence and actual violence in the facility, such that Mr. Combs' safety is constantly at risk. Well, that would be the safety of a lot of people, including the staff. So is it so bad in there? Like, are we, is it the safety? Is it the facility? Is it too many cops? Does he want to go to Supermax? What does he want? He doesn't want more. Like, wouldn't you want cops to respond to whatever the hell is going on? So, okay. Let's keep going. Here, decisions. Here, judicial decisions from this district and other neighboring districts detail the inhumane treatment at the MDC that has continued during Mr. Combs' detention for the past 11 months. Okay. In the Eastern District, Judge Brown found these issues continue to affect judicial determinations. Okay. So get your prison together, or they're not going to be sending any more prisoners there. That's basically it. So this is what the judge found. Judge Committee, I think that's how you say his name, a Kamadi, granted a motion for compassion release based on primarily on the conditions at MDC for a detention, serving time for violating supervised release. Okay. Given the severe prison conditions that prevail at MDC, conditions that amount to imposing harsher punishments on prisoners. This court and others have adjusted sentences of the defendants in custody there for a lengthy periods. In yet another case, Judge Conang indicated that he might have sentenced an offender to incarceration if not for the length of the sentence landing him in the Bureau of Prisons of Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. So these judges that they're using for an example did not want to send the people that they were sentencing there. They wanted, where did they go, to the Hilton? I'm so confused. Indeed, many courts in the Southern and Eastern districts have sentenced defendants to shorter periods of incarceration or no incarceration at all due to the conditions of confinement at MDC. Perhaps most problematic to Mr. Combs' condition of confinement is the unchecked violence. Okay. Though Mr. Combs has been a model inmate for his nearly year-long period of confinement, the violent conditions are still very much a concern for Mr. Combs, and it is unnecessary confinement risk, given the clear precedence of multiple similarly situated Mann Act convictions where defendants were released on conditions. Okay. So that was his third reason. Release him because the conditions of the prison have not improved. Okay. The first one was release him because the Mann Act is very unique. His case is so unique. You can't really find a definition out there to make a comparison. That's how unique that situation is. And then here we go to the next one. There is no risk of flight or danger to the community. Further making an argument. Sean Combs is not a risk of flight, nor is he a danger to the community or to any specific people, given the undisputed fact that Mr. Combs voluntarily came to New York to surrender in this case in advance of his arrest, that he surrendered his passport to his lawyer 6 months before his arrest, and that he paid off the outstanding mortgage on his home in Miami prior to his arrest so that he would own a home free and clear to secure any bail package, and that he has now been acquitted of the racketeering conspiracy and trafficking charges against him. There is no serious argument that he is a flight risk. Is there no serious argument that he's a flight risk? Do you guys think that Diddy's put a one in the chat? And listen, this is your opinion. Do y'all think that Diddy is a flight risk? Mar, thank you. Oh my God, Mar, I thought you were already a member. You must have just renewed, my love. Thank you so much, Mar, for renewing your membership. Put in one in the chat. Is Diddy a flight risk? Okay. I mean, he did turn himself in. Sure, you caught him with a lot of drugs, but see, what are his connections? Got a lot of connections. Just like I think Epstein would have been a flight risk too. If they would have just, they were playing with fire when they came to Epstein, and then he unalived himself, if you believe that story, which I don't. So you guys believe he's a flight risk. Okay. There you go. See Russell Simmons, Joe Francis. Joe Francis is another. Why don't they deport Joe Francis back to the U.S. so he can face his charges that he has here? Let's deport him here. Let's extradite his, even if it's a misdemeanor. Deport him. Deporting all these people. Deport him back. That's what we want. Okay. Agnifilo told him to turn himself in. There you go. You said he would be really dumb and to try anything like that, though, says Ashley. There you go. Yeah, send Joe Francis to Alligator Alcatraz. Thank you. I agree. I couldn't. Belen, you get the star comment today. Thank you. Yes, you said they picked him up. He did not turn himself in. Well, I think he told the authorities where he was at. Now, mind you, he was still partying up. You saw all those baby oil bottles and all the stuff that he had in there. Here's off topic, though. This is what I want to know. I'm not familiar with that, but I'll check it out. I'll check that out, Yanni. Off topic. This is the unresolved issue for me. Who was giving him his prescription medication? How come that hasn't been even talked about? There you go. That's what I have to say that. Thank you so much, Mar, for the $5. Relatable Reese has been speaking on the gestures. That's a whole rabbit hole in itself. Yeah, I think this was maybe months ago. I'd seen a video. I don't know if she's done any more. Shout out to Relatable Reese. I'd have to check it out if she's been speaking on it, but I have to see. Thank you so much for the $5, Mar. Thank you for this. I'll have to check it out. Okay, let me go and keep going on these documents. We turn our attention to the government's argument that the court's statement on July 2nd, 2025, that he posed a danger to the community or to the others due to his violent past, the court noted that the defense admitted a history of DV as to Miss Ventura and that he struck Jane twice in June 2024. However, we strenuously object that Mr. Combs posed a danger to the community if released on conditions. Based on the facts developed at the trial, aside from a single instance on June 18, 2024, when Mr. Combs was provoked by Jane through her own acts of violence, there was no evidence of any acts of violence in the last 7 years. Indeed, the jury notably rejected the government's argument that in June 2024 incident constituted coercion when it acquitted Mr. Combs of trafficking charges in count 4. Also, prior to his arrest, in this case, Mr. Combs enrolled in a DV program in which he participated until he was arrested and incarcerated in connection with this case. The court is familiar with the trial evidence, and counsel will not recite it here. The relationship with Miss Ventura ended in 2018, and there was no evidence at trial of any physical altercations between Combs and anyone else between their breakup in 2018 and the physical altercation with Jane in June of 2024. And regarding Jane, she testified that she started the altercation by smashing his head into the kitchen counter and threw glasses and candles at him. Notably, Jane and Combs dated for 3 years, and their relationship did not have a history of violence. There was only one incident of an alleged assault. If released on conditions, Sean Combs will not be violent to anyone. Ooh, he said. Judge, he will not be violent to anyone. I feel like Agnifilo is going to sing a song for us here. Just the way he wrote this. As we said in court, this jury gave him his life back. He will not squander his second chance at life, nor would he do anything to further jeopardize his 7 children not having a father, and 4 of his children not having a parent at all. The court can fashion any set of conditions. Mr. Combs will abide by any conditions to make the court comfortable that Mr. Combs will not be violent towards any person. Okay, so here's a proposed bail package. Ooh, what do y'all think he's going to say? Let me see. Let me get a little drink because I was not ready for a proposed bail package, but it's in this document, yo. Let me know what you guys think. You think Gina and Young Miami are waiting for Diddy, sadly? Well, that is their choice at this point, you know. That's their choice. If you know what I mean. You said I can't with Agnifilo. Why, California girl? Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, guys. Please and thank you. Let's keep going. You said it's crazy. Some of y'all think he won't flee. Did we not catch the same court case? I'm confused. Only thing he cares about is diddling, says Banna Fields. Oh my goodness. Mar, thank you. Oh my God, Mar, thank you again for the $5. The violent part, I don't believe it's coming. That man has not learned. He's only come lately because he was forced to. That's the question. I have a lot of questions. I mean, yeah, that's the question. That is the question. Has he learned? Does the lawyer say he's lawyer? I mean, because there was just so much in between before the trial. But that is the question. Has he learned? Should be allowed? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the reason why Agnifilo's doing this paperwork now is because Comey's out? Comey's out. Damien was out. Comey jumped in. Comey's out. You got you got Miser in there. Who else? There was Miser, Johnson. I forgot the other. There was 6 of them total. Comey's out. Miser, Johnson. There was 3 other ones. And they were all women, I think. They were all women. So, yeah. The violent part. Thank you so much, Mar, for the $5. Give me one sec. Ooh, gotta take breaks when I'm reading this. Let me know what you guys think. Let's keep going. So this is the proposed bail package. Based on the exceptional circumstances set above, we move for a release on the following conditions. Combs will sign a $50 million bond okay, hold up. Combs will sign a $50 million bond secured by Mr. Combs' home in Miami. Okay, there's a misspelling there or a typo there. The bond will be co-signed by 3 financially responsible people, okay? Combs will reside in his home in Miami. Combs' travel will be limited to the Southern District of Florida, the Southern District of New York for any attorney meeting, as well as airport necessary to travel between the two. Defendant will be placed under the express supervision of the U.S. Pretrial Services Agency, the PTS, and must report to that agency as directed by PTS. And Combs' passport will be surrendered to PST. Why did I say PTS? It's PTS. But he's saying here pretrial services. Okay, so all right. Combs' passport will be surrendered to pretrial services, and he shall not apply for any other passports. So he won't be anywhere. He won't be able to leave if he surrenders these documents. And then the private jet, I'm not really sure. It's apparently in Hawaii, if you guys remember in the last hearing where we were talking about his release. If the court finds any more extreme conditions necessary, the court may also add any or all of the following conditions: home detention, private security approved by the court, and pretrial services with the cost borne by the defendant. So Diddy's going to pay for that. Mental health treatment. He definitely should have been. I think he's already in jail getting like some kind of DV treatment on this. Mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, electronic surveillance of the defendant, or any other condition the court deems necessary. With any and all of the conditions posed above, Mr. Combs can show by clear and convincing evidence that he does not pose a danger to the community, and he would fully surrender to supervision by pretrial services to ensure that the court knows that Mr. Combs does not pose a danger to any person. Okay, so then there, more on the footnotes. It's all transcript sites. And then there's a footnote on 18, which that says Mr. Combs' homes are equipped with electronic surveillance currently and can be shared with PTS PTS at their request in order to ensure compliance with any visitation policies that PTS sets. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that if this were to happen, PTS should be setting that surveillance in the home if they give him home detention. So that is what was signed by Agnifilo and team. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? He's laying the foundation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is pathetic. The judge has got like 5 letters that say otherwise. That he's got letters from other folks. I mean, he got a letter from Deontay Nash, Cassie Ventura's lawyer. Who was the other letter? There was other letters. But you do have to wonder, what is all this? You know? He definitely needs to, I mean, this should be a given. His mental health treatment should be a given. Like, he should be on extensive everything at this point while he's sitting there, you know? But I guess we'll see how the judge sees this. And let me see, when do we have a scheduled hearing for this? Because I don't think that we have one. Let me go to Inner City Press while we wait for let's see. Because Inner City, this is how I found out about it, through Inner City Press. Shout out to Inner City Press. Okay, this was 3 hours ago, but we don't know. We're waiting for the docket for the what is it? The thing to update. Are they going to have a hearing over this? Are they going to? Is the judge going to meet with them, or is the judge going to decide without a hearing? It's an interesting letter. Okay, so there is that. No worries, Adam. Shout out to you. You said the judge has already decided where on this letter, Martha, or are you just saying that? I'm wondering, because I haven't heard the judge decide. Hold up, let me see what else. See, they're just now reporting on the letter. Everybody, like the rap. Diddy's lawyers filed motion. We just read this whole motion. It took us a good hour to read all of this, and go through it. That gestures part was really compelling and interesting. I might have to look into that a little bit more. But let me know. Next, they're going to request a new judge. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know. I think that the reason why they filed this now is because, what's the word? Yeah, I don't think the judge is going to hear it today. The reason why they filed this now is maybe because of Comey. Maybe they felt like we might got some opportunity now that Comey's out. Judge Tahir thought he said no to bail requests. That's what I thought too. That he wasn't going to hear anything until October 3rd. But he's making this letter ahead of time to see if maybe he might have a chance. I mean, what's the worst thing that he could say? The judge can say no, right? And thank you so much, Kel on Earth, for the $2. Judge Tahir thought he said no. That's what I thought he said. Maybe he's trying it again. Rabbit, that is a very aggressive request from a lawyer who, along with his clients, are desperate and grasping at straws. I know the judge is tired with Diddy. Yeah. I know he said no, so maybe he's kind of like, I'm gonna do another request and see. He said he got you. You must be just now reading that part. He got he got several master's degrees while he was watching. I mean, maybe he didn't do the deed with the prostitute, but he was getting his master's degrees. He got like 5 or 7. It sounds like 25 of them, if not hundreds of them, while he was watching. You know, that's what I'm saying. There weren't these deadlines for each side to meet. That's right. I just thought they were. So maybe Kiss and Booch, maybe they put this letter in there just ahead of time. And then they're going to come up with a meeting, but maybe the judge will see it and be like, well, let's go ahead and have a hearing on this. Let's figure this out. Maybe this could be a thing. I don't know. It doesn't mean that he's going to grant it. By all means, please no. We don't know if that's the case. It doesn't mean anything, quite honestly. It literally just means that, you know, what's her name is gone. I think that's why he did it, because what's her name is gone. And he's like, let me just see if I can test the waters. If I'm Agnifilo, I would try it. Why not? Comey's out. You know, she pissed off a bunch of people, got herself fired, whatever it may be, and I'm going to try it, you know, because I find it so interesting. You said, I want to know where the Fed charges against Cowboys and Angels for the clear facilitation of prostitution services. That's where a lot of us were like, well, where's that at? What happened there? We want to know. We want to know. Mm-mm-mm. All right, guys. Well, that was the first hour. We read the breaking news of the Diddy letter from Magnifilo. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We got to move on because otherwise we're going to spend all day on this and we need to kind of get in there. Lindell, where have you been? We've been asking about Lindell. Lindell, you just now show up? You're late. They have 0 grounds to hold Diddy. It is ridiculous and could spark a lawsuit if they continue to do the sentencing on appeal. Well, let him sue then. We thought Lindell. We hadn't seen Lindell in a while, y'all. You guys drop some flowers for Lindell. I know you guys miss Lindell in the chat. Shout out to Lindell. Here comes Lindell out of nowhere. Was he in the chat before? Because I didn't see Lindell before. Why are you guys laughing? Lindell's in the chat. Hit the like for Lindell. Lindell comes out of nowhere. Shout out to Lindell. Where's Lindell at? I love it. See? Lindell's very well known in these parts of the channel. I thought Lindell would have been here earlier. He just comes out of nowhere. I've been waiting for somebody to say, we have a problem. Oh no, we have a problem. Ha 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 ha. You said Diddy's personal spokesperson as Diddy's rep. No, Lindell's all right. Lindell's all right. You said I told you a little bit ago I didn't see him. I just saw him. Well, Lindell's in the chat, y'all. See, Lindell, people are dropping flowers for you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Lindell is proof we allow opposing views as long as they're presented respectfully and non-argumentative. Thank you. Not attacking people. Like, you lose the audience when you start attacking people for an opposing view. Thank you. That's right. Lindell is proof. All these motions, including the mistrial motions, are undeniable. Here we go. You got to be able to have a little bit of everything. Shout out to Lindell. Lindell, they're saying hello to you. You better greet the people, okay? Because you give him bodish at this point. Are you a bot? I like Lindell. Come on, James. Lindell is a bot. I don't think so. Lindell, are you okay? See, anyways, let me stop. We just talked about Lindell for a good 20 minutes. We're good. Where have you been, Lindell? Oh my God. All right. Let me stop that. Okay. Let's keep it going, guys, because we have so much to review and so little time to do it. Shout out to Lindell. All right. This is why I like your channel. It's not I try, G-Man, not to keep an echo chamber. Promise you. You know, we try. We can have opposing views. Just some people that say they want, this is what they say. We want people to be unbiased, but so as long as your point of view is being reflected on the way you want it to be reflected on. And I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. That's it. Okay. And I work for everybody. Okay. Let's talk about Shane Tamura. Tamura. You guys, so yesterday, horrific situation, a shooting, what is it, Midtown Manhattan, and kind of specific areas. There was a lot of speculation about the NFL, BlackRock, or what's the other one? Blackstone, BlackRock, all these buildings and stuff like that. Oh my God, look at BJ. I'm the one with the echo chamber on my channel. I will block anyone so fast. Y'all, shout out to BJ in the chat. BJ, I thought you were gonna be live on the letter. I was so ready for you. He said, and we love you for it, BJ. Everybody runs their channels a little bit different. You are absolutely correct, though. He's like, okay, bye. LOL. Shout out to BJ. Make sure you guys are checking BJ out. I think everybody here is subscribed to BJ. All right, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Uploading my video. Good. I'm glad because I was like, I know BJ's probably gonna go live on this, and you know, nothing. The way BJ breaks things down and explains it, you know, you just can't compare. You cannot compare. Drop some rabbits for rabbit. Thank you. All right. Let's get it together, guys. So Shane Tamura, Midtown gunman, claims that he suffered from CTE. All right. So CTE is, and let me give you the more. I had it in my head, but I forgot the full meaning of it. Right. So for those that don't know what CTE is, it is the chronic, what Why am I like this is leaving me? Chronic traumatic, um, it's like a traumatic brain injury. It's a traumatic brain injury, right? Specifically, but it's certain areas of the brain. So, sometimes people that play heavily in sports, you might find that there. But the thing about CTE is that it can't be diagnosed while someone's alive. Someone has to, they have to be gone. Okay. They're out, they're gone. Because you literally have to go into a person's brain to find out if they had CTE. Now, this is after the fact. This is after somebody has died. So for somebody to tell you, I think I have CTE, I was diagnosed, that's incorrect. You can't diagnose somebody until they've passed away and they've died. Okay. Thank you. I can never say this word, but I'm going to have Google help me out. Let me see. What is it? Uh, uh, um, Hold on. Oh, thank you, Google. Thank you. See, this is Google. Pronounce this for me. Pronounce this for me. Encephalopathy. Thank you. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I said it correctly. There you go. It's similar, but the problem with CTE is that it's said to have been caused through sometimes sports injuries. You might see boxing folks, people that box and stuff like that, that are into that. It's really specific to sports that like football, for example, stuff like that, that's just really heavily on the body. But so many blows to the head can cause CTE. Rugby players, definitely. Rugby players, football players, boxers is another one too. So what happens is you cannot diagnose this while the person is alive. Usually you find out about it until later on. Like Aaron Hernandez, for example, is a person who people believe he had CTE, and I believe they did determine that after his death. And you can't, while you're alive, you may have um uh symptoms of it. It may show like that, and it shows up later in life, right? So like what is it, Junior Seau, another football player who I think he ended his life. These specific personalities that, very successful in life, really great in sports, but then later on in the life, once they retire or even before that, they start showing signs of maybe some mental health behaviors that are very concerning. One person that I think is struggling with CTE as we speak, it's the we've talked about him before. My goodness, why is he leaving me? And he's constantly posting bizarre things on online. Damn, his face is like leaving me. We've talked about him before. He's currently online talking about they replaced his family. Put the name in the chat if you know who I'm talking about, because all this is leaving my head right now. But he is saying that his family has been replaced, that he is the only person that's alive, that people have replaced his family. He was really, really into BJ. Thank you, BJ. What's his name? No, not Antonio Brown. No. Not Gary Busey. There's another one who, oh my God, I got to find him. BJ Penn. Thank you. Him, BJ Penn. And I'm going to show you guys, I really do think that this man is struggling. I mean, and it could be a combination of everything. It could be maybe potential substance abuse. BJ Penn, we talked about him. Okay. See if I can find him. Him right here. Everything that he's posting is just like, he's posting videos of his mom. He's in full on just, he's saying that his life has been switched. Your entire bloodline is watching. It's too late to be scared. Just time to K. Just try to win, kick every single one of their asses. He's going into this thing. He goes into this mode. He's been arrested multiple times. All of this, he gets physical with folks. He's full on into a war within himself. Honestly, he's had these rants. He was filming his mom, and his mom just ignores him, and he's telling his mom that, you're not my real mom, you're not this person. I honestly think that he's struggling from CTE, and he was, he's in the sports arena, right? doing this kind of stuff, and at some point it affects you. It affects your mental state. I think that this is a real thing for him. Yes, this is a combination of it. If you go to his IG, it's out there. He killed this entire family, right? He did. I mean, wrestlers, they all kind of go through it. um he's Hawaiian, he's not Filipino, I think he's Hawaiian. um BJ Penn, and it's really, it's a bizarre situation. I wouldn't necessarily say that, although it seems like there might be factors to it, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of different things, but like I said, if you go to his IG, he'll take pictures with his family. Look at this. Like he'll say that, like, these are his brothers, and he'll say that his family has been photoshopped. Like he's saying that this is not them, that they're trying to steal his family. They've replaced his family. He's got pictures. He'll go in there and he will like make ear comparisons and stuff like that. Hell, they even got that one Leonardo DiCaprio movie, Shutter Island, in the comments, because he has these moments. Look, he'll do face comparisons. He says that the family that he's with are paid actors. I do wonder if he's like, if this is full on CTE, but he's, in order to diagnose him with that, he has to be gone. They have to go in the brain, and they have to basically examine the brain to determine if this is full on CTE. This is an example of just a little bit of the delusions that he's going through. Check it out. Go to his BJ Penn, go into his IG. You could see it right in there. You do have to wonder if CTE. And a lot of us, I know Cinema Shogun did a video where he talked about, you kind of have to wonder, because he's kind of going through these like moments of mania or manic. Are we going to get a headline where he has completely hurt his family? Because he does have those, and they have to involve law enforcement. So there's that. So anyways, so Shane Tamura, who is a gunman, all right, and he, it's so weird how all of this happened. Yesterday they had a press conference where they talked a little bit about him. He walked into this building, and he was very quick to attack security, quick to attack certain people that were there, and went to a specific floor to do the stuff that he was doing, which is with his what is it? AR. It was an AR. It was like an M6. I think it's a similar type of weapon. And he basically shot and killed some people and injured several. One of the things that said at the press conference was that he had a history of documented mental health. Now, he had a concealed carry permit from Las Vegas, right? And so he had access to all these weapons. I mean, that's what he had, and it didn't even actually expire until 2025. The problem is that you can assume people have CTE, and I would assume that that's the case, but apparently this gunman left a note in his pocket, and he claimed to have been suffering from CTE, but you can't figure that out until somebody's dead. So 27-year-old man who shot and killed 4 people at Midtown office building on Monday carried a note in his pocket claiming that he suffered from CTE, asked his brain to be studied, and made references to the NFL. What did we find out when he was younger? He was playing football. The other thing we found out, a very bizarre situation, is that in 2018, apparently he went missing. He went missing in 2018, right? So there was that. We brought that up because somebody said, go look in here. And then you could see that there was like some postings of him going missing in 2018, along with his brother, Terry. The suspect, Shane Tamura, who the police said has a documented mental health history, played high school football in Los Angeles but did not play professionally. Sources described the 3-page letter as rambling and contained references to the NFL. The references were found to be vague by the sources. 345 Park Avenue houses, among other companies, the NFL headquarters. One page of the note found in Tamura's pocket accused the NFL of concealing the dangers to players' brain to maximize profits. It's an interesting take. The dangers to maximize profits, okay, of playing football. A second page mentioned chronic traumatic. I see, there I go. I forgot how to say the word. Hold up. Let me say it again because I want to say it right. encephalopathy, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I still can't say it right. Um, CTE, a brain disease likely caused by repeated head injuries, and blamed football. A third page asked, "Study my brain, please. I'm sorry." Police have found no evidence so far that he suffered from a traumatic brain injury or had CTE. Sources said he has no known connection to the NFL. I mean, other than it sounds like he played football when he was in high school, but that's about it. A former teammate of his spoke to our sister's station, KABC in Los Angeles, about Tamura. He was a great teammate. He was a great guy in general. He didn't cause any problems, actually, at all in the locker room or in the field, he said. He was just a guy who really enjoyed sports, not problematic at all. When I found out the news, I was really shocked. I really couldn't believe it. Tamura had two mental health crises hold in his background in Nevada, one in 2022 and another one in 2024. And that is the thing that I have to harp on. Why isn't there a connection or any type of system where if somebody is having a mental health crisis and they are a gun owner, and I'm not trying to take anybody's rights away, but let me be very clear, his permit did not expire until 2027. Why haven't we figured out anything to streamline a situation where if a person has various mental health crises, you have to kind of wonder, are they okay to be holding a gun? Is it okay for them to do that? Would you give an alcoholic, if they've been drinking on and off, if you know they're full on alcoholics, they've had several DUIs, several things, would you give them the keys to go drive around and do different shit, to your car or a car? Like, that's the question that I don't get. Right? I don't get it. And I'm not saying that this is a crime, but I do want, well, what he did is a crime. But the mental health piece and not being able to connect the fact that he's a gun owner or that he has a permit, you do have to kind of wonder, right? There's something off here. Cash, thank you so much for the 499 face comparisons. Our friend Sad compared me to Pierce Brosnan or Antonio Banderas. He is old Japanese and I took it. He misses us. Laugh too much. Thank you, Cash. Thank you. Thank you for the support. You do have to wonder, You said, I can tell you firsthand experience, until they become a danger to themselves or someone else, they hold all their rights and there's nothing that the courts can do. Absolutely. What do you do about the gun, though? You don't want them to hurt themselves or you don't want them to hurt another person. And you don't want to take their rights away. Like, I don't want anybody don't get me wrong on this, but this is a bigger issue about how we allow people to just own. Anybody can own one, I guess. No, I get it, Vicky. Shout out to you. No worries, love. Thank you. It's sad is true, but what do we do? It is a very like, I don't want to tell y'all can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this, or anything like that. Like, at all. I don't want to do that, but I also look at what's preventable, right? And clearly he had two mental health holds. Okay, and I'm glad that it looks like he at that time he got the help that he needed. What happened that made him not go and seek more mental help? Something else. This typically allows someone to be detained for up to 72 hours if they are thought to be a danger to themselves or others. According to one source, when there is this type of hold in Nevada, officers have to transport the person to the hospital. Once that happens, medical staff take over and decide how long to hold the person. They don't update police, so source isn't sure how long Tamura was held either time. And Las Vegas, by the way, this is when they were doing a lot of the shuffling. There was a bus, this was a couple years ago. I don't think it's still happening, but Los Angeles, their mental health system was caught transporting a lot of mental health patients over to Las Vegas. They would take them in a bus and just drop them off in Las Vegas like on this several hours drive, and there was cameras, and I think it was the New York Times who did like this huge expose where they exposed what Los Angeles mental health was doing. They were transporting all those patients that didn't have insurance, that couldn't pay. A lot of them were homeless. A lot of them were kind of like at a skid row. They were taking them and just dropping them off in Las Vegas. So in Las Vegas saw this like hit of mental health patients that were being taken over there. And then suddenly they also got an increase of, federal funds and stuff like that to help these mental health patients and stuff like that. It's just the mental health system is so backwards, right? I mean, the health system is backwards, period. We see these, I hate the way we see this. We never see our physical health and mental health as one, right? Because you can't have one can't be good without the other. It's all separated. And it's crazy to me how it's set up that way, where it's like if your mental health is not well, it could affect your physical health. It could affect your heart. It could affect different kinds of things, right? So we have to kind of keep in mind that like it's not an easy answer to this. And then you add the gun situation. I don't want to take this man's rights from owning the gun, but I also don't want him hurting himself or others, which is what he did here. He had a documented history of mental health. 2 visits, he was held. And what happened after that? What aftercare did he receive after that? Was he having a mental health crisis before the shooting? Same with Jonathan Nadi. Think about Jonathan Nadi. Jonathan Nadi to me is a mystery, right? We all know him, his connection to Diddy and everything. But what is so unclear to me about Jonathan Nadi is what led up to him shooting Trump Tower. What led up to all these kinds of things, right? Because there is this blank period. Nobody does a really good breakdown of what led up to the events that made everybody made him snap. It just makes you wonder, could this have been prevented? No. Anyways, so they don't update police when he was held. A Las Vegas source says that Tamura also got his CCW, concealed carry, in 2012 and in 2022, and had a previous arrest for trespassing in the state. So he'd already had arrest. When we saw that little card, and people were like, "Oh, he was a police officer," they were confusing him with like a concealed carry. No, he was not a police officer. It was just a concealed carry permit. On the bottom, it said that it expired in 2027. At the end of the rampage, Tamura died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the 33rd floor office where he had barricaded himself. Okay, the Horseshoe Casino confirmed on Tuesday that he was an employee and released a statement. We can confirm that Shane Devon Tamura was a surveillance department employee at Shoehorse, Las Vegas. Remember, he had a PI license. Our thoughts are with the victims, their families, and all those affected by this tragic event. We're cooperating with law enforcement and will not be commenting further. Shoehorse Casino is owned by Caesars. Okay. So there is that. And I mean, there's more information coming about. I think that this has surprised a lot of people that were close to him as well. Overall, so he was a football player. He was, maybe high school football. That's what it sounds like. He attended Granada Hills Charter High School in Los Angeles County. That's kind of where he played the football. More information is coming about. It's just a sad situation. Former Southern California football standout has been identified as the gunman who killed 4 people inside a Midtown Manhattan building Monday, including an off-duty police officer. Okay, he was 27 at the time. He was wearing a body armor, okay, and carrying an M4. It's not an M6, excuse me, an M4 assault rifle, which is similar to like an AR-15. Shot and killed 4 people, including an off-duty New York Police Department officer who was working security at Midtown Manhattan office building, after apparently barricading himself in the 33rd floor. And there are images of this, like there's furniture all over where I couldn't understand whether he barricaded himself or they all barricaded themselves. Hold up, let me see. Let me see if I can pull this because I was so confused. Let me see. There was these images where No, the workers barricaded themselves. Let me show y'all. Like, this is just so scary. Look at this. They had the furniture. They barricaded like, because I mean, where are you going to go when you're up on so many floors? The office workers. Thank you for clarifying. It's just sad. It's an M4, which is close to like they're similar kind of weapons. It's crazy. We just don't know at all. Yes, we covered that yesterday. We covered that it wasn't a letter. It was a congressional filing. Again, there's a lot that we don't know. It's just a lot that we don't know, y'all. That's the thing. There's a lot that we don't know, and we'll never know. And I mean, maybe he felt like he had CTE, and this is kind of where he stood. He felt like he couldn't deal. You know, it's sad overall. Overall, it is sad. So we're gonna move on. Again, we'll keep an eye out on that situation. Yeah, actually, that was my question yesterday: is how did he walk up and nobody saw, or like, again, I wouldn't even have approached him. I would have been too scared. If I see somebody with a weapon like that just walking out, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing with that?" No, I'm not doing that. But it did make me wonder about kind of law enforcement, or did they see him with the weapon before he walked in? Did he just straight up park his car and then say, "I'm gonna walk in," and that's what I'm gonna do? Um, I have a lot of questions, but I'm not gonna, like, this is New York City. Okay. I'm not gonna be asking, like, "Hey, what are you doing with that?" I don't want to. I'm just letting y'all know. Like, I would probably walk to a law enforcement officer and said, "Hey, there's a man with a huge ass weapon just walking to a building." Just letting you know. But yeah, people, yeah, I wouldn't have approached them. It wouldn't be safe. It wouldn't be safe. People would just walk away because and it wouldn't have been recommended. I do wonder though, and I asked the same question. I said, what's going on?" Somebody said in the chat yesterday, I would have asked him what he was doing. I wouldn't have. Why would you ask somebody with a huge ass weapon, "What are you doing with that?" No. You find law enforcement and let them know. Find somebody or call 911 and say, "Hey, take a picture of it." And then just walk away and say, "Hey, there's a man that's with a big ass weapon walking to a building. This is what he's doing." And that's what you do. And I'm sorry. You got to be careful. You just have to be careful. And it's New York City, you know? But yeah, that's my thought. Let me know what you guys think. We are going to move on because we have to talk about this Maxwell. Somebody asked in the chat. Exactly. I'm not asking, "Hey, what are you doing with that weapon?" No, no, no. No. Well, that's who he came after. He did go after security too. So there was that. They tried. They tried to intervene, but it clearly yeah, it didn't work out. We got to talk about this news right here. Somebody asked in the comments, did we talk about the breaking here? Do you think we'll be waiting on the Diddy files like Epstein? I don't know about that. But let me see. Somebody asked, was it you, Cookie, who asked if I talked about? Yeah, we covered this, the whole letter thing yesterday. That was breaking news yesterday. So we got to talk about this. So Maxwell seeks to postpone Epstein testimony before oversight committee. Now hold up. And Maxwell is trying to extract concessions in exchange for giving congressional investigators information about Epstein. Maxwell, a convicted co-conspirator of the deceased offender Jeffrey Epstein, is asking to postpone her scheduled congressional deposition. This just dropped today while we were live. Okay. And making a series of other demands as conditions of a cooperation with the Hill investigators. Now she's making demands. I haven't even drank my coffee, y'all. The lady is making demands because she can, okay? Because she can is she's making the demands. That's what she's doing. It comes following a recent vote by the House Oversight and Government Reform Subcommittee to subpoena Maxwell amid mounting pressure from House Republicans to release material related to the larger Epstein investigation. Okay. Full committee chair James Comer subsequently sent a letter to Maxwell, who was in prison, compelling her to speak with the committee on August 11th. So why would she want to postpone? Is it because she finally got to talk to you know, the people? What's this all about? Now that she got to talk to the DOJ, she's like, I'm trying to push this back. What do y'all think? Let me know. It further goes, Maxwell's attorneys indicated last week that she was declining to cooperate with the subpoena. But in a letter obtained Tuesday by Political, the lawyer noted their client now wants to reach a compromise to facilitate her testimony. Among her asks is to be granted immunity from further criminal proceedings, to receive committee investigators' questions in advance of the interview, to delay the deposition until after her appeals, and to relocate the deposition outside of the prison where Maxwell is held. Otherwise, the attorneys wrote, Maxwell will invoke her Fifth Amendment right. We remain open to working with the committee to find a path forward that respects her constitutional rights and enables her to assist the American people and the committee in its important oversight mission, the attorney wrote. A spokesperson for the House Oversight Committee said the panel would soon respond to Maxwell's request, but would not consider granting her congressional immunity. Many House Republicans have been pushing Comer and GOP leaders to make the interview with Maxwell as public as possible. According to 3 Republicans with direct knowledge of talks, members worry the closed-door settings, I do too, and the possibility of granting her some level of immunity would only increase distrust among their constituents who have been pressing for answers related to Epstein's activities. Oh my goodness, dropped 29 minutes ago, y'all. Talk about breaking news. 29 minutes ago. She's making her demands, okay? He said, have they revealed the supposed 100 names she gave up? They are Sixth Amendment freedom. They are not going to reveal that yet. You know what I'm saying, love? Listen, they got to look into those names. One can only guess. Trump says it's fake news. Trump was telling people that what did this guy say? I gotta tell you all what he said. Lord have mercy. Where's my Instagram? Because I was saving some markers. I have to show you guys. I could not. It's like, well, nothing surprises me at this point. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing surprises me at this point. But according to his own words, and I got other shit I got to show you guys too. According to his own words, I don't know. He feel like, again, this is all fake news. O.J. Simpson's attorney says Donald Trump is diverting attention from the Epstein controversy by posting memes comparing Obama to Simpson. Okay, like this guy is just, I don't know what to say. I mean, we've seen this. This is who's got this. This man is the president, and he's getting memes together. Like he thinks this is cute. Is this cute? What are we doing here? Let me tell you, I don't know what else to say. I am just like, I don't know. This is giving Trumpstein at this point, as somebody in my chat had said. I don't know what else to say, but he keeps blaming other people. Trump says he declined Epstein's invitation to visit him in his island. I never had the privilege. What? And there's more. Hold up. I got so many things to show you guys. I never had the privilege of going. The comments came as part of the president's effort to distract and deny and deflect from his long-running relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. What are we?
Persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
We know that. We don't like Bill Clinton. Excuse me. I mean, some of y'all may. I'll speak for myself. We know that. We know that Bill Clinton went. Hell, a lot of the elites went. literally, they are making you should see. I was watching some of the MAGA influencers. Now they're changing the goalposts. Some of them are like, well, he could have gone, which is what they said. I mean, we know this. We don't like the Clintons. If the man went there 28 times and he committed crimes, hey, put his 80-year-olds, whatever, his ass in jail. Do it. Throw him in, put him in there. We know this. But we're asking about you.
I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard, and many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
And he says privilege when we know that little girls were violated in this island. What the F ever, guys? Y'all listening to this ish? You cannot make this shit up.
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Really? You cannot. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this. Look at this. Look at even Al Sharpton had to speak on this. Look at this. Look at this.
Donald Trump is saying he has heard that you took $600,000 in return for endorsing Kamala Harris.
Well, I think that, first of all, it is absurd because a few months ago he said that I took $500,000 to let her do an interview with me on my television show. So he's talking about the same election, same cycle. Donald Trump is running from the Epstein scandal. And when he couldn't make anything work last week, when they kept picking up traction, said he was going to fire the Fed chair. That didn't break the news cycle. Said he was going to fight with Putin about Ukraine. That didn't break the cycle. Had some foreign heads of state come in. That didn't break the cycle. He went to what he does all the time. He went to the race card. He decided one day he's going to, I think it was Monday, he's going to release the FBI files on Martin Luther King. And in it's supposed to be a lot of stuff, rumors that we heard all down through the years. Everyone knows that J. Edgar Hoover was out to get Dr. King, distorted records, fell flat. That didn't help him. Next day, he says, I want to see Barack Obama, former president, indicted for treason. That didn't help him. Then he comes with now Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, and Al Sharpton were paid to endorse Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris needs to be investigated, and they need to be investigated.
So again, in politics, and this is the shit that just, and Meg the Stallion too, she performed and she was probably paid. All these people were paid to, they were endorsing these political people. There needs to be a law about this, or a rule or something, that when these political people are running for office, they cannot seek celebrities to endorse them, because then these celebrities, if it's your favorite celebrity that's voting for a politician, then people are voting for and this is really working for the younger crowd than it is working for myself. I'll include myself in the older crowd. I don't give a shit about my favorite celebrity voting for who they're voting for or who's performing for what. We don't give a shit about that. Some people get really into that. We don't care, and they need to stop that ish. It's propaganda. It's just crazy. But is it a crime? Is it a crime that Beyonce perform or she endorses? I don't know if it is. Is it? Let me know. If it's a crime, please tell me which crime was committed when they did this. I don't know, because I feel like I'm lost on this one. Don, thank you so much for the $5. Trump didn't go to the island. Clinton was trafficking rugs and women back when he was a governor in Tennessee through the LLC company. Put him in jail, Don. Put them all in prison. But why is the current president so worried about things as it pertains to this? People, like I said, it shouldn't be a surprise. A lot of people know that Epstein and Trump were friends. What is the big deal? Why is he acting this way? That's the part that I don't get it. None of us, I could believe this about Clinton. I could believe this about a lot of people out there. But my thing is why are people Why aren't we allowed to ask questions? And why does he keep changing the goalposts? And why did he say that the files were fake? Why, if his name wasn't even involved in there? Why are you doing why are you doing the most to deflect? So much so that your own base has turned on you because of it. Why? Why make all these promises and not deliver? That's the question that I have. And you're right. If Clinton did this, put his ass in jail, all of them, all these political people, because they're given this power and then they're taking advantage of the people. I don't like that. John, thank you again for the $5. Shout out to you. But I'm here for it. I'm here for us to call all of them. All of them. If Trump were on the bad list, the Democrats would have already put it out. That's what they say. You know why I don't think they put it out? It's because I think they're both on it. They're both on it. They're both on it. Put them out. Put all the lists out. And you know, I'm going to be honest with you. Can I truly trust that anybody at this point is being honest? You have these files. Who has custody of these files? Where are these files at? I don't trust any of these people. I don't. Nobody's defending Clinton. And I'm telling you, I think the reason why they haven't put it out for both sides is just you're going to get names from both sides. From both sides. And they're scared. And you know what that does? It removes the blinders that a lot of people have currently. That we truly believe that people that are in office are really for us. It has been the thing that a lot of us as children, we were taught. Say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, right? Do this and do that. Study the 50 states. Study who did what. Study the laws and rules. Study all this. You know, study why people got in trouble. Study this Proclamation Act and that Proclamation Act and do this and that and the other. And then come to find out that all these things that we have in play don't truly protect any of us. They're scared. From both sides, because let me tell you, you do have some Democrats that are saying, don't release them. And then I find it so convenient and I get mad at the Democrats too that are using this to leverage as a weapon. No, I don't trust your asses. They both should be scared. I don't trust any of them. I don't. And I'm telling you, I get into these, like, when I've had family watch my videos and they messaging me and it's like, be careful about talking so-and-so. No, I don't care. I'm going to talk about both of them. I don't like them. I don't like any of them. I don't. And I hate how people will push you to vote one way. I hate how religious institutions will tell you who to vote for. No. It's a sham, guys. It's all a sham. When we wake up and we realize how powerful we are together, we may not agree with everything, but when we wake up and realize how powerful we really are, then people are going to start saying stuff. Then people are going to be like, no. And that's the thing. Between local, everything. Cash, thank you again for the $1.99 QX Files theme. I do like the theme. Yes, I am. Can you tell I'm a Sagittarius? Ooh. How do you know, Maggie? Can you tell? I've said it before, but how'd you figure that out? How'd you figure that out now? You have to tell me. People have asked, are you a Sagittarius? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's right. Two sides of the same coin. People don't take the division bait, period. I like that you said this. Thank you for this comment. There are two sides of the same coin. Both parties do not care about us. They don't. It's crazy. But that is what we've been made, and that's what we've been taught to believe in our education system. The two parties, they don't care about us. They're the two sides of the same coin. And they only care about us when it's time to elect them. That's it. They give you a stupid little sticker. Go do your thing and move on. That's it. Let's keep going, okay? All right. Elon Eladio, let's talk about Eladio, co-signs viral meme predicting Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged Trump pardon scenario. You know what? I was looking at this, and I do have to say that this is interesting. Somebody posted this and it went viral, I guess. Here's how it's going to go down. Ghislaine, who's now making demands, by the way, the criminal is making demands. The convicted criminal felon, ST trafficker, she's not the only one, though. Please note that. She's not the only one. She is now making demands. This is how they said it's going to go down. And I think this is what's going to happen. Ghislaine names a bunch of Democrats, maybe tosses a few billionaires, says Trump did nothing wrong. MAGA praises her for taking the Pedialites down. Trump pardons her for telling the truth out of a situation where he said it was a hoax. Not real. Epstein hoax. I hope everybody screenshotted all of those posts that he said, because I'm telling you, the internet has a way of making things disappear. And that's what's going to happen. They are going to gaslight us. Okay? I'm thoroughly disappointed. That's right. Asking me the same thing. Yes, I'm a pure Sagittarius, says Jimmy. Yeah, you could tell Sagittarius can tend to see. It's a Sagittarius thing. We'll call each other out. But yes. You can't blame. It just, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. He said he never had the privilege to visit the island. Okay. All right. Bill Clinton should get in trouble for this shit too. He should go to prison too. If he did something, he violated children, he definitely should go to jail. Okay. Throw away the key. I don't care how old he is. I have no compassion for things like that. Okay. That's how it is. I mean, it's crazy to me, but we can't let these people deflect on us. All right. Now, this is a crazy ass world. Let me just say this. This is just crazy. Let me show you guys another thing. This is another Epstein. Apparently, and I don't know how much truth there is to this. So Alan Dershowitz, you know, the lawyer, right? I was wondering, how did he meet Epstein? There's a lot of been articles about that. Jeffrey Epstein met Alan Dershowitz in jail. Look at this. This is in 2019. Jeffrey Epstein jail logs. Accused child met Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton's friend, alleged co-conspirators a decade ago. It's when they first kind of met. And I do wonder about how quickly Alan Dershowitz jumped up and was like, I need to clear my name and I need to do this and I need to do that. But I wonder about Alan Dershowitz too. And even though they're using him as a source, I don't know. I side-eye that attorney too. In so many ways. I don't know him. I need to do a little bit more research, but his coming ups and everything, it's a lot of gray in that area. You said Virginia changed her mind about him kind of, but her family is kind of powerful themselves too. So, wow. It's getting worse if we don't wake up. It's too many crazy people, you know? You said, here's my thing. Everyone praising. I'm not praising Elon. I think he's part of the problem too. Don't forget Elon's banking issues. When his banking was being investigated, at least that whole connection with Epstein. He is no saint whatsoever. I will not praise Elon. Elon needs to hurry up and just think about his children. ABC, elemental P, you know, an X, Y, and Z child in those children. I feel the way he treats his children, especially one of them that's like, you know, I don't know. It's just he's not a good person, I don't think. Everyone praising Elon, but his ass knew all this before the election. That's why he defended him, and then he used his platform to push the narrative. You can't tell me no different. He didn't get as much powerful as he wanted for his donations. So he trolls. Yeah, he's trolling now. And he's got a huge, oh yeah, and don't forget this BS too. He's got a huge following, right? That's what they say, Cookie, but I don't know We'd have to see into that a little bit more. What do we have in there to really substantiate some of this information? Now, like I said, this is a kind of a weird world. I have to show you guys something. This is the world of AI. Man has a full-on argument, AR argument with this AI girlfriend. Does anybody have an AI girlfriend or boyfriend here? Drop a 1 in the chat. I will not judge you if you have an AI relationship. Have we gone that far out? No judgment here. I'll definitely pray for you, but I'm not going to judge you. Anybody got an AI significant other here?
Honey,
Hey,
how's the meat? Carne asada. Num num nums.
what are you doing?
Putting lime on the meat.
You're just wasting limes. You're supposed to put the limes on your finished tacos.
I'm pretty sure I've seen El Pollo Loco commercials where they're using lime on the meat while it's on the grill.
Why would you squeeze limes on a hot grill? It just evaporates.
Okay, so it's just a myth, huh? It's Mexican folklore that you use lime on carne asada while it's on the grill. That's not a thing?
No, that's not a thing.
Okay. Hey, you said it's an incel life. Yes, it's real. It's real. He's having a full-on argument about, like, he's on the bottom with this VR headset. His girlfriend's on the top. I just think, do I have anybody in the chat who has an AI girlfriend? Listen, I'm going to pray for you if you do. I will not judge you. I will pray for you. Okay, let's keep going.
They literally have lime on the packaging.
And is the meat on a grill?
It's not it is cooked already, but they're bad. Fine. I'm putting lime on my part of the meat, and yours won't have any lime. You'll just have bland carne asada.
I will add the lime to my finished tacos.
Well, fine. Do it however you want.
Man, she said, I will put it after my taco. She got a little mouth on her. She said, I'm going to do this afterwards. Does she have a point, though? I do wonder. Does she have a point? Why would you put lime while your meat is on the grill? You don't do that. I'm Mexican. Is she Mexican? She must be Mexican, too, because we don't do that. I mean, if my Latinos out there, if you put lime on your tacos while they're on the grill, let me know, because we don't. Well, typically you're supposed to, sometimes you can season it before you put it on the grill, so it kind of has a little bit of a lime flavor on it. You could do that, but yeah, you put it. So she got a point, right? Okay. Yeah, you marinate the meat. All right, listen. I think she might be AI, but she's got some sense.
Dude, I'm gonna watch baseball. What's up, honey?
Hey,
how's the meat? Carne asada.
There you go. So again, if you have AI girlfriends, AI relationships, I'm not here to judge you, but that they got a full-on relationship right there. So the women's are argumentative even in the VR headset. You're like, yeah, that's right. Yes, they are argumentative. You're not designing your own girlfriend there. You are yes, they still be arguing, okay? They are still arguing. Okay? Yes, they are. Anyways, y'all okay? Let me know. I just thought I would lighten up the mood a little bit with this one. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. If you're watching the replay, shout out to you. Shout out to Miss Faye, who watches the replay all the time. I'm gonna be out of here because I gotta go, and I can see the battery's about to die pretty soon here. Yeah, why isn't he? Thank you, Queen Liz. Why isn't he grilling? See what I'm saying? Why isn't he grilling? And she could just sit there and then eat her tacos. Or notice that? You can't make this ish up. I don't know. I don't know. Even, see, the AI girlfriends will argue with you. Yes, they will. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye, guys. And shout out to everybody that supported the channel today. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.